Dr. Reeves closed the door to his office, his face grave as he looked at my blood test results, then back at me. "Emma, what I'm about to tell you is going to be difficult to hear," he said slowly. "But the levels of arsenic in your system are dangerously high. Someone is poisoning you. And based on what you've told me about your symptoms and timeline, I think it's your stepmother." Before I continue, please subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me share more stories like this. 6 months earlier, I was healthy, vibrant, planning my wedding to my fiancé, Michael. I was a 28-year-old marketing director with a bright future, a close relationship with my father, and a stepmother I'd grown to genuinely love. My mother died when I was 16, a sudden aneurysm that shattered our family. For 3 years, my father was a shell of himself. Then he met Catherine at a charity gala. She was elegant, warm, 10 years younger than him, and she brought light back into his eyes. I was 19 when they married, already away at college. I'll admit I was skeptical at first. The age gap, the speed of their relationship, the way she seamlessly moved into my childhood home. But Catherine never tried to replace my mother. She respected my grief, included me in family decisions, and genuinely seemed to care about my father's happiness. Over the next 9 years, we built a real relationship. She remembered my birthday. She helped me move into 3 different apartments. She threw me a surprise party when I got my promotion. When I got engaged to Michael, she cried happy tears and immediately started planning engagement party details. She was family. So when the symptoms started, poisoning never crossed my mind. It began subtly. Fatigue that I blamed on wedding stress. Nausea that I attributed to my new workout routine. A persistent metallic taste in my mouth that my dentist couldn't explain. Then the symptoms intensified. Stomach cramps that doubled me over. Hair that started falling out in alarming clumps in the shower. Numbness in my fingers and toes. A rash that appeared across my chest and wouldn't respond to any cream. Probably just stress, my general practitioner said. Wedding planning can really take a toll on the body. But I knew my body. This wasn't stress. The strange thing was, the symptoms were worse after family dinners at Dad and Catherine's house. Every Sunday, without fail, I'd go for our traditional family meal. And every Monday, I'd wake up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Michael noticed too. "Maybe you have a food sensitivity," he suggested. "Something Catherine cooks with that doesn't agree with you?" It seemed plausible. Catherine loved to cook elaborate meals. It was her love language. She'd spend hours in the kitchen preparing my favorites, always making sure I had seconds, always sending me home with leftovers. I started keeping a food diary, trying to identify triggers. Nothing obvious jumped out. But I couldn't shake the pattern. Sunday dinner, Monday misery. Then came the night that changed everything. We were celebrating my father's birthday at their house. Catherine had outdone herself, filet mignon, roasted vegetables, a chocolate cake she'd spent all day perfecting. The dining room glowed with candlelight, and Dad kept kissing Catherine's hand, telling her how lucky he was. Halfway through dinner, I excused myself to use the bathroom. On my way back, I passed Catherine's study. The door was ajar, and I glimpsed something on her desk that made me stop. Medical journals. Stacks of them. But not just any medical journals, they were open to articles about toxicology, about heavy metal poisoning, about symptoms that mirrored my own. My heart began to pound. I shouldn't have, but I pushed the door open wider. On top of the journals was a notebook, Catherine's handwriting filling the pages. I could see my name, dates, symptom descriptions that matched my own complaints I'd shared with her when she'd ask how I was feeling, her face full of concern. "Emma? Dessert's ready," Catherine's voice called from the dining room. I jerked back from the doorway, my hands trembling. I returned to the table, but I couldn't eat another bite. I made an excuse about feeling unwell, true enough, and left early, despite Dad's protests. That night, I barely slept. My mind spun with possibilities, each more horrifying than the last. But I couldn't make myself believe it. This was Catherine. Catherine who'd held my hand at my mother's grave on the anniversary of her death. Catherine who'd helped me address 200 wedding invitations. Catherine who'd welcomed me into her home every single Sunday for 9 years. There had to be another explanation, but Michael didn't think so. Think about it," he said when I told him what I'd seen. "The timing, the symptoms, the research in her study. And didn't you tell me your dad has a huge life insurance policy?" "He does, but I'm the beneficiary, not Catherine," I said. "That's the one thing he never changed after Mom died. He said it was my inheritance, my security." "Exactly," Michael said quietly. "You're the beneficiary. If something happened to you before the wedding, wouldn't it revert to him? And if something then happened to him?" I felt sick. No, that's insane. Catherine loves my dad. She loves me. Does she? Or does she love what your family can give her? I wanted to argue. But I couldn't. Because once the seed was planted, I couldn't stop seeing things differently. Catherine's insistence that I always eat seconds. Her disappointment when I missed a family dinner. The way she'd always prepare my plate herself, never letting me serve my own portions. The way she'd ask, so sweetly, how I was feeling. Always so concerned. Always taking mental notes. I need proof, I said finally. Real proof. Before I accuse her of something this horrific. That's when Michael suggested I see his cousin's husband, Dr. James Reeves, a toxicologist at the university hospital. He agreed to run a comprehensive panel, checking for things regular doctors wouldn't think to test for. The results came back 3 days later. Arsenic. High levels. Consistent with chronic, intentional exposure over several months. This isn't from environmental contamination, Dr. Reeves explained, his expression serious. The levels and pattern suggest someone is administering small doses regularly. Given that your symptoms worsen after meals at your stepmother's house, and given what you've told me about her research. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. I sat in his office, the world tilting beneath me. What do I do? First, you stop eating anything she prepares. Immediately. No more family dinners. No leftovers. Nothing. And then we go to the police. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Not yet. Not without understanding why. Instead, I did something probably stupid but necessary for my own sanity. I confronted her. I showed up at the house when I knew Dad would be at work. Catherine answered the door in yoga clothes, her face lighting up when she saw me. Emma, what a lovely surprise. I was just about to make lunch. Are you hungry? No, I said. I need to talk to you. Now. Something flickered across her face. Was it fear? But she smiled and stepped aside. Of course, sweetheart. Come in. We sat in the living room. I pulled out my phone and showed her the blood test results. Arsenic, I said flatly. Dr. Reeves says someone's been poisoning me. For months. Catherine's face went white. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Emma. That's horrible. Do they know who? Do they know how? I found your research. In your study. All the medical journals about toxicology. The notebook with my symptoms documented. The color drained completely from her face now. But instead of the guilt I expected, I saw something else. Panic. Real, genuine panic. You think she couldn't even finish. Emma, no. God, no. You have to believe me. Then explain the research. Explain why you've been documenting my symptoms. Catherine stood abruptly, pacing. Her hands were shaking. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with you. You kept getting sicker and no one could tell you why. I thought if I researched, if I documented everything, maybe I could help find an answer. And the arsenic? What arsenic? She looked genuinely confused. I would never. Then her face changed. A horrible realization dawned. Oh God. Oh God, no. What? She sank back onto the couch, her face ashen. The tea. What tea? Your grandmother's tea. The special blend your father's been giving you. My blood ran cold. My dad. The story Catherine told me was horrifying in its simplicity. My grandmother, my father's mother, had died 2 years ago. Before she died, she changed her will. Instead of leaving her considerable estate to my father, she left everything to me. A trust that would mature on my 30th birthday, just 18 months away. $3 million. My father had been furious. He'd challenged the will, but my grandmother's lawyers had crafted it carefully. It was ironclad. He's been different since then, Catherine said quietly. Obsessed with money. With the lifestyle we can't quite afford. He kept saying how unfair it was, how your grandmother betrayed him. But he never said anything to me. He couldn't. Not without revealing how bitter he was. How much he resented you for stealing his inheritance. Catherine's voice broke. About 3 months ago, he started making you that special tea. Said it was your grandmother's recipe. Said it would help with your stress. The tea. The tea he'd give me every Sunday dinner, brewed specially, always insisting I drink the whole cup because Grandma would have wanted you to. He said it was for stress, I whispered. I didn't question it. Why would I? He's your father. Catherine looked at me with desperate eyes. But then you got sicker. And I started noticing things. The way he'd watch you drink the tea. The way he'd ask me casually, so casually, if you'd finished your cup. I started researching your symptoms, trying to understand. When I read about arsenic poisoning, I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Why didn't you tell me? Because I had no proof. Just suspicions about my own husband. Your father. She grabbed my hands. I kept hoping I was wrong. Kept telling myself I was paranoid. But Emma, if what you're showing me is true. We sat in horrified silence. My father. My own father. The man who'd held me when my mother died. Who'd taught me to ride a bike. Who'd walked me down the aisle at my college graduation, tears streaming down his face. That man was killing me for money. We called Dr. Reeves together. Then we called the police. Catherine surrendered every container of the special tea my father had been preparing. Testing confirmed what we suspected. High levels of arsenic, carefully measured to sicken but not immediately kill. A slow death that could be explained away as mysterious illness. The police arrested my father at his office. Catherine had to identify the tea containers. I had to give a statement about every Sunday dinner, every cup of tea, every time he'd watched me with those patient, loving eyes while he slowly poisoned me. The investigation revealed he'd been researching methods for months, had consulted with online forums about untraceable poisons, had even taken out an additional life insurance policy on me 6 months before the poisoning began, a policy where he was the beneficiary if I died before my 30th birthday. He'd planned it meticulously, and he would have succeeded if Catherine hadn't been paying attention, if I hadn't accidentally seen her research, if Michael hadn't insisted I get specialized testing. The trial was a nightmare. My father's attorney tried to paint Catherine as the real culprit, tried to suggest she'd framed him. But the evidence was overwhelming. His computer searches, his purchase history, his fingerprints on the tea containers, the paper trail of the life insurance policy. He was convicted of attempted murder. 30 years to life. Catherine divorced him immediately. She sold the house, gave me every penny from the sale. I don't want anything that came from him, she said. And Emma, I'm so sorry. Sorry I didn't see it sooner. Sorry I didn't protect you. You did protect me, I said. Your research, your documentation, that's what helped Dr. Reeves figure it out. You saved my life. She cried then, and so did I. It's been 2 years now. My health has recovered, though I still have some residual nerve damage in my hands. The doctors say it should improve with time. I turned 30 last month. The trust matured. $3 million that my grandmother left me because she knew, somehow, she knew, that my father couldn't be trusted with it. Michael and I got married in a small ceremony. Catherine was my maid of honor. We don't talk about my father. Some betrayals are too deep to discuss casually. But I think about him sometimes. About how greed can corrupt even parental love. About how the person you trust most can become the person you should fear most. About how evil doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it looks like a father making tea for his daughter. And I think about Catherine, the stepmother I suspected, who turned out to be the person who saved my life. Who chose truth over loyalty to her husband. Who risked everything to protect me. Family, I've learned, isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about who shows up when the truth is ugly. Who chooses right over easy. Who loves you enough to believe the unbelievable. Catherine is my family. She always was. Just not in the way I thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more interesting true stories every day.